Hey everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. I have something really exciting to tell you about Microsoft. I was at a Microsoft event and I'm going to be talking about it through various posts I just posted earlier today. So let's get some caveats out of the way. I am more and more impressed with what's coming out of Microsoft in the last few weeks, well actually a few years really. Anyways, what I'm about to show you is a really cool set of new Microsoft tools that have been introduced, really meant for data science. I'll go over that in a little bit. But like I said, let's go over the caveat first. Now, if you're one of these Microsoft bashers, haters, or whatever, especially in the world of trading, that's your choice, that's your issue, your concern. I have played around with Linux and all these open source trading languages. And to be truthful, they are not up to par. And I'm going to show you some other examples that Microsoft has shown. And some of the stuff that they've got going on looks pretty exciting to make life a lot easier. So let's get to it. First off, I got my new post here, quite the bold statement here. Will Microsoft take over quant, finance, analytic, and model research trading space with these new platforms? Let me first go over this caveat. Very important here. No, Microsoft does not sponsor me. No, Microsoft does not pay for my mortgage or provide me any hoe or coke lifestyle you may think. I do think they offer pretty neat sponsored coffee cups and free pizza. That's all I got. Sorry to say. I think a lot of people will be disappointed, so sorry. So let's get to the whole thing. So like I said, I went to a Microsoft event. It did really blow my mind. I knew stuff was getting into the data science. Obviously, we get the big data thing going on with Hadoop and some other stuff. But Microsoft are now focusing more on the data scientists. People basically being a quant, specifically in trading. That's what quant is data science. Predicting, analyzing, using statistics, and so on and so forth. Predicting and forecasting from data sources, and basically aggregating it. Alright, so what started this? What precipitated this? You hopefully have seen my videos on SQL Server 2014, which just came out. I went to the official Microsoft launch party, which was yesterday, Saturday, and they introduced not just Microsoft SQL Server, but what all the other things they've got going on, especially, let's just call it the data science space, because that's what they seem to be really focusing on. They're not the Microsoft that you used to think. I mean, hell, they're supporting a lot of the open source stuff, namely Hadoop and all the stuff that comes with Hadoop, so I might cover that in a little bit, but let's go over it. So there's a new product called HD Insight, and I'm going to provide all the links that you see here in this video, and I'll put them under my blog, actually under this post right here. You see, you get all the links right here. Okay, so just so everybody knows. Alright, so we have MS SQL, SQL Server 2014. We've gone on over the in-memory. The beta version really blew at that, but they've got something very cool. I'll go over that in a minute. What they've got here is some use cases. Blade machines, 2 terabytes each. Some of the clientele environments are gaining up to 30-time performance gain. Now, when I say performance gain, that is in write access, not just read access. Some of them have been reporting over 10,000 times, so they got faster join queries. This is just based on using the new SQL Server 2014. That's with the new Oltp features, a major feature of the new 2014 edition. And because of that, they've leveraged off of some new products which are based off of the Microsoft Cloud solution, Azure. Everyone thinks that Microsoft's going down in flames. Think again, Azure is their biggest and fastest growing division, no different than Amazon EC2, their cloud. Microsoft's Azure cloud solution is doing quite well, and they're leveraging off of all the latest .NET and obviously the SQL Server and other stuff. I'll go over that in a minute, but in essence, what they've got is they've got this new analytical platform system. In essence, there's a bunch of new products that come out of that. We all know that SQL Server can house traditional structured data. Well, with this new Azure, because they have a SQL Server version now, what they've done is with this new product called Polybase, they've been able to merge non-structured data using Hadoop. So when I say non-structured, we're talking PDFs, videos with metadata. Okay, so that can be now somehow housed in SQL Server using a cloud service solution like, let's say, Azure. Okay, and they also got this large-scale analytic appliance that they've included. It's called HD Insight. This right here, I've got a link on it as well. So I'm not going to go into detail with that. I'm just highlighting that it exists. Now, the other cool thing about it, it has out-of-box parallelization, okay, with MPP, and they're using in-memory column store within the database of, obviously, SQL Server, which is very important. And again, I've mentioned the HD Insight Azure Big Data solution on the cloud. They are also leveraging off of the new Office 365 front end. They have some new front end tool, I guess add-ins that leverage off of both the HD Insights, both the SQL Server as well as the Azure. And what they've done is they've got Power View, which includes a new, I was blown away when I saw this, the new visualization within Excel. Very powerful. I was just unbelievable what I saw. This new one called Power Map as well. They also included something called Power Query as well for more sophisticated querying. They've also included Power Pivot as well, which was introduced a few years ago in Excel. But this particular version and the Power Pivot enables you to basically chart in real time all the data that's coming out of either the Azure or the SQL Server, chart it real time, and also run calculations and algorithms and analytics on the fly in real time within an Excel spreadsheet. It was just unbelievable what I saw. And of course you can use business intelligence. I've always known about that. And you can get your own strategies and profitable opportunities alone just from this tool, the Power BI, and they call this self-service, so you may want to look that up as well. But these are just some of the highlights that you get with the new set of products that Microsoft has just rolled out fairly recently. And the cool thing about it is because it's using Windows Server 2012, what they've also included is they're leveraging things like PowerShell. So it's a pretty sophisticated scripting language within Windows 2012. Now, you know, for all you Linux purists out there, I think Windows 2012 server, the headless version, could probably go toe-to-toe with the Linux version. Yeah, you will pay, of course, there's licensing, but Jesus, if you're trading hundreds of thousands of dollars of client money, I wouldn't even think about without getting proper licensing and support, just for alone on liability purposes, especially if you're involving external client because of liability and whatnot. And there's also compliance, which a lot of the bigger capital firms require anyway, so that's something you need to consider when you are wanting to open up some kind of shop. So the Microsoft is a good solution for that. Alright, so we've talked about Excel as a front end, the Power View, the Power Query, the Power Pivot, all in memory, on the fly. Again, you can stream your data from within SQL Server into something like into Excel. Very cool, and very, very neat. Now, does that mean it could be used for real-time trading? Yes, just depends upon your frequency of trading and how many positions and your execution, how often you'll do that. If you're looking at high speed, I obviously don't think this is a real good solution for you. But if you're doing, I'll say medium volume, maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 trades a day, I think this would be more than sufficient. This would be great to get up and running, because you don't have to worry about all that monkeying stuff of charting and all that, because this is all out of box, ready to go, and all you're really doing is just charting, clicking, and blah 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 blah. So we all know Excel, and you can get stuff up and running fairly quickly. That's a big advantage of using something like Microsoft Solutions versus as a lot of my community know about Linux. Well, I'll see you next year when you're still trying to build your first library. Okay, so there's that. We've talked about all the different availability. Now I'm going to show you a link with the Hadoop. Now again, some of the other Hadoop open source projects include Hive and HDFS, which is the file storage for Hadoop, for storing things like obviously PDFs or some, as I said, unstructured type of data. All right, so let's talk about, there's two other points we need to go further through. Let's see. We've got the in-memory to talk about. We've got modernizing your data warehouse with big data and using Hadoop inside of SQL Server 2014. Let's get to that. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay, so let's talk about the in-memory features. As I said, if you see me play around with the in-memory database feature for 2014, SQL Server 2014, you knew I was pulling my hair out. It just wasn't fun to play with, but fortunately, there's some tips here I got from the presentation, but there is a advisor, wizard, I guess, that can guide you through that once you create a new table. The other cool thing is, I mean, I knew you could probably do this, but to be able to import your CSV and create a database or a table from it was very cool. Makes life a lot easier. Anyways, let's go on to the specifics. We talked about the Oltp in-memory database stuff. And it's again it's in-memory analytics with real-time insights using those other tools that I mentioned. Now, one big client that they mentioned that they have is SDB Liquidity. That's using it. As I said, the key here is the Power Business Intelligence that you get with Office 365, and you can use that and go up against your SQL Server or Azure SQL Server. So you can have your own infrastructure locally on a SQL Server, or you could use a SQL Server edition for Azure on the cloud, which is probably the better way to do it if you can afford it, because obviously you got hardware and all the overhead that comes with it. I've been looking at that. This is something I'm very kind of interested in checking out, just due to the fact of again, reducing my costs as I try to get bigger, especially on the data side. There is a little bit of limitations on the in-memory store on disk and in-memory only. Now, a question I particularly ask is the difference between Stream Insights and Oltp. It seems Microsoft will keep Stream Insights in the current version of SQL Server, and that they're specifically using it for event-based. So again, this is a option that you can play with, and the cool thing about it is I've been getting harped on about complex event processing. This is your option to go with CEP using Stream Insights with .NET. It's obviously C# in your code there. Okay, now there's some interesting tips and tricks here. You create your in-memory defined database columns, or table columns. You can create a table from the create a table from the data set, as I said. And here's the key. Here's the key. When you get your table created in the SQL Server Studio Management Studio SSMS, what you do is you right-click on your table, as you typically do, and then there's this thing called Memory Optimization Advisor. This is what will guide you through the in-memory usage. There's some configuration tips I'm not going to go into right here. On the scanning, you can also use, again, PowerShell for different scripts. It does handle hashes, which is part of what's used within Linux and C++ for speed, so you can configure those to a pretty low level. Yeah, so there's some other tips here. Now, there's a query plan that you can generate from scripts, and then you can use those query plans for your queries. You can use them to optimize your queries, so you can get faster queries, and this can be done on the fly. There's a posting on that I'll go through in a minute. So some really cool stuff. Now again, on the fly, you can have access to your database, your query, with using these statistics. There's some very classic statistics that you would expect from what I'm learning on Khan Academy. You can use these that are part of out of box using SQL Server to let's say you have a pricing table, data set, time series. What you can do, you can use these statistics features in Transact SQL, the language, as well as the query optimizer to generate strategies from. Okay, let me repeat that. So let's say you have a database or a table of price action on some assets that you watch live in the market. You can use the table in real time. You can use these statistics features and be able to use something called a query optimizer on the fly and be able to generate models on the fly. Or algorithms on the fly using the statistics feature. Some of that went into my head. I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. And then again, you can use these query plan to test the performance on scripts, namely speed. So there's a lot of experimentation up ahead with using these features, especially with this new SQL Server 2014. Alright, so that's SQL Server, one presentation. Another presentation was again using Hadoop, where Microsoft has been, well, the new Microsoft, we'll call it, with Satya Nadella, who's pretty well a guy who spearheaded, is that the right word, spearheaded the open source movement for Microsoft to support open source and the latest trends, obviously Hadoop and all the other ones I mentioned with HDFS, Hive, HBase. It's all included here, and you can use this as part of the SQL, as I think it's part of this thing, this HD Insights, and then you can use again this Power BI for Office 365 as your front end, all out of box. It's friggin' cool. I'll leave it at that. When I saw some of the capabilities, it was mind blowing. So we have that. Now another thing with the Hadoop, they're teamed up with Hortonworks to implement their solution into this HD Insights. Again, that enables you to use HD Insights on the cloud. And it also enables you to use real-time performance thanks to parallelization. Again, out of box, and all you're doing is just click, 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 boom, that's it, you're ready to go. Azure Cloud. This is really the very powerful. I mean, I've never been a fan of cloud, especially if it's my own data and I don't want people, I want it to be secure. From what I understand, this is the security is pretty tight and it's seamless. And to be honest, this has really enabled me to be secure about my data, especially on a cloud solution like Azure. What the philosophy is over at Microsoft is pretty smart. What they've done is you take your code from your application, maybe sitting on your desktop, and you push the code onto your data through this seamless connection into your Azure environment, and that might be very powerful. So all your queries, all your strategies, all that, it sits on your desktop, but what you're doing is when you activate it, you're pushing all that code through this connection, through the secure connection using Azure. So that somewhat relieved me, I guess, or raised my confidence in using a cloud solution, which I thought was, whoa, that's pretty cool. Okay. Talk about the front end. So again, you can use the Power Query in Excel to leverage off of the database and the Azure HD Insights. They have this new language called, of all languages, M. And Visual Studio, with the new Visual Studio 2014, that's very powerful as well. So you can get a direct connect right into your Azure environment or your SQL environment. It's pretty powerful. You have this other thing called Power Table in Excel to use as a front end. And the other cool thing is that you can use multiple sources, so multiple, let's say for Azure, for SQL Server, for just flat files, CSVs, and you can get access to them through Excel, through the new current version of Excel. They have this thing called SSIS package to import, make your life a lot easier. And again, you can have all your data live within the cloud on Azure, and then access all your front end through either Excel or through Visual Studio, or I guess through the SQL Server Management Studio. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. There's another project here. I don't know if I can confirm. I haven't looked for it, but whatever. It was mentioned. I noted it. So that is with Big Hadoop. Okay. Yeah, it was really cool to watch that live. I got a good set of lessons from that. Now we've talked about the in-memory, or did we? Yeah, we did. We've talked about that. Let's see, there's some other stuff here. Okay, I gotta continue the video. One last thing I forgot to mention was this other presentation for the SQL Server Cardinal Estimator. I think it's new in SQL Server 2014. Basically, what it is, it's a query optimizer that enhances the performance of generally poor performing or slower queries. Again, you can use, I mentioned this earlier, you can use statistics to optimize performance on the fly to see how your queries are doing. Done in a stored procedure as well. And the cool thing is that you can see how the optimization is on the query. You can generate a query plan from it, and then have your scripts or your C# try to decide what the better queries are. And it does it on the fly, out of box. It's using just different, where SQL Server is basically trying to learn how your data and your querying is done. So what they've done is they've got this this thing called Cardinal Estimator, and it's very cool. What this guy was saying was that there was you get better concurrency out of the SQL Server, because obviously it's trying to learn. You get less support tickets as well, and that's especially, as I said, for poor, slower performing queries. And just using the SQL Server 2014 changes that. So all in all, you can see some huge benefits with SQL Server 2014. As you can tell, I will be implementing pretty well. I'm pretty confident with it to use all these tools. Obviously, these Excel front end with the visualization, the querying, HD Insights possibly, and all the other tools I've talked about in this video. SQL Server 2014, Azure, what else we got here? Can't even remember half of it. SQL Server, Excel. So you won't see that start getting implemented for quite a while. I'm just working on the algorithm still. But it's pretty exciting. And again, I've not talked about F#, the potential with that. I've not talked about all the other stuff that I've got that's more proprietary for my needs. And it looks pretty exciting, really exciting in fact, to be able to look at how to model, that's really, I guess you could call it unconventional, especially using the power of the new features within SQL Server. Again, the Oltp for in-memory, this Cardinal Estimator, the statistics on the fly, and probably a whole host of other things I'm not even thinking about as I learn SQL Server. Again, I gotta stress, I would not recommend this for ultra lowest latency. We've got other solutions for that, namely using something like an FPGA, but this may be good for estimating, setting up next day trading orders. There's a whole host of things that we could utilize with these type of tools. Thanks to Microsoft and some of the exciting stuff that they got coming down the pipes or are already out there. Let me know what you think. Comment, and I'd be interested to hear what you say. If you're, like I said, a Microsoft hater, be prepared to be poo-pooed on, because a lot of people get value out of this, and it doesn't take, if you think you can just try to drag a whole bunch of people down, you're dead wrong. Sorry, this is how it goes. Have a good day, wherever you are.